Hi, Marielle. Welcome to this masterclass, the first masterclass of this year, 2025. Thank you for getting up so early. In Europe, it's 7 o'clock. That shows determination and grit and commitment. That's really fantastic. So today's masterclass is I want to share with you a process that I call the Neuro-Alignment Process. And this is one of the core processes of the Adjust Your Mind method. And I'm just going to share my screen. If you give me one moment. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What is the Neuro-Alignment Process? Oh, you start with a quote. Your brain state determines your ability to connect, grow, and thrive. Of course, we know that as chiropractors. But for people that don't have that background, it's actually not so, how do you say it? Obvious. Okay, so we have basically the neuro-alignment process is fueled and founded by three core principles, and these are natural and timeless principles that also actually are foundational to our profession, our chiropractic profession. And they are probably not new to you, but I repeat a lot because I don't know how it works with you, but I always learn by repeating and repeating. I'm actually quite a slow learner. It takes often repeating a few times to really sink in. And I really love that kind of beginner's attitude as well, where you just keep going back to the foundation. And principle number one is tension seeks resolution, and it always follows the path of least resistance. Now, we spoke about that before. But maybe Mariella, do you want to just share what is landing about this principle and what you remembered from this principle and how you understand it?
To see if I can say that in my own words, because
Yes,
it's
yes,
so,
please.
because it's so obvious to us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you want to see it from a nervous system perspective?
Maybe just, I mean, it is a natural, it's a natural principle. So you see it
Yeah.
everywhere in nature, but you can describe it any way
Yeah,
you
well, the
want.
water flows always downwards. I mean, that's probably the most obvious one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you think of your body, I mean, your body always is looking for a balance. And it's compensating when it's out of balance, and that's always the path with the which takes not as much the lowest amount of energy, the lowest amount of energy.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So your body wants to somehow also, it wants to how do you say it? Conserve energy, right?
Yeah.
That's why these lower pathways are so persistent, because they do take less energy and they are a lot more like default actually with most of us, because they do, it is the path of least resistance. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you can replace tension with energy as well. So everything, I would say, I would like to add everything in. To create anything, you need energy and tension. And tension is actually inherent to life, and it's inherent to the creative process. So to create anything, we need energy and tension. But the question is, how are we going to resolve this tension? Are we going to do that consciously, along the higher pathway, along a pathway that is coherent with what we love and what we want to create here, what our purpose here is in life? Or are we resolving it along the lower pathway, which is basically only keeping us safe? And that is important, and it's very, it's important that we have those pathways, but it becomes dysfunctional when we are actually safe. But our systems still perceive our reality as unsafe. And of course, in that case, it is dysfunctional, and that is with most people. So just to continue a little bit more on principle number 1, that we learn to use tension consciously. And we also learn that we are able to sit more in tension. So when tension arises, we can see it as an opportunity. We can see it as an invitation to grow and to learn new things. We can see it as an opportunity to upgrade our system, as opposed to wanting to resolve tension quickly, which is actually what I used to always do, because I strongly dislike tension. So it's very natural, but it's not so beneficial, because you actually recreate the same reality. It's like the leaky bucket in your energy bucket. It's like the leak in your energy bucket. And all it does is recreate your old reality. So when you feel you're stuck in a reality that, you've been there before and it's happening again, and you don't know how to get out of it, you're resolving tension towards the lower pathway. Okay, so principle number 2 is what I call, or what is called, the motivational mechanism. And I'm going to go in depth into that. And principle number 3 is the subject-object theory. And the subject-object theory you've probably heard before as well. But I'm going to dive deeper into those principles now. Let me just quickly check my messages, because, okay, here we go. All right, so before we dive into the principles, let us just briefly touch upon the introduction and what it's designed to do. It's designed to help align your current reality, so where you are at now, with where you want to be. So it's basically, it's like a roadmap to go from A till B. And it's anchored in timeless and natural principles, like I said before, specifically the philosophy of chiropractic, which is very dear to me, the chiropractic philosophy. And the aim is also to empower you along the way with greater clarity, alignment with your inner power and your potential, and the freedom to make purposeful, conscious choices. So the choices that we make determine the reality that we live. And often the choices are made unconsciously, which means you're staying in that same old reality. So we want to learn how to make purposeful and conscious choices. And it aims to uncover the hidden dynamics, which we as chiropractors refer to as subluxations, the underlighted areas in your nervous system. But of course, they show up in your thoughts, in your emotions, and in your behavior. So they show up in every aspect and layer of your being, energetically, emotionally, chemically, on all levels. And these hidden patterns, these subluxations that often lead to pain in the body as well, they are compensation strategies designed to avoid pain and maintain a safe status quo. So the compensations in your spine, they serve a purpose. And the purpose is to avoid pain and discomfort. So it's actually a really clever way of your nervous system to avoid pain and discomfort. But ultimately, those compensation strategies, they start to work against you. So they might be beneficial when, when there was a real threat when you were young, but when they stay hidden in your nervous system for too long, in your brain, then they start to work against you. So the whole purpose of them is it's not relevant anymore. And they actually, not just that, they completely block your ability to grow and expand as a human. And I can see them as contractions in your energy body, your nervous system, emotions, and physical self. So they are literally disconnected from your brain, those areas. And of course, as we learned before, is that they form incredible amount of fuel and opportunities, because there's a lot of energy potential stored in those subluxations. And I've referred before to the like the picture of a gold, like a little gold hump stored in your body. So we want to learn how to use it to become more energy rich by releasing that stored energy potential in your subluxations. And this is what the process does. And of course, you will develop the awareness and tools to release them. And by doing that, you basically rewire your system for growth and alignment, because what we're doing is we're enhancing those higher brain pathways. And ultimately, we want to, of course, grow and learn new things and experience new experiences, and really live as the being in the driver's seat of your life, becoming more empowered. So this is basically just the introduction. I already spoke about the principle number 1. And I think I've touched upon most of those points. So I want to go a little bit deeper in, if that's okay with you, a little bit deeper into principle number 2. Because this is new, and it's a really, like, when it landed with me, it's like quite an aha moment. It's called the motivational mechanism. And what is behind this principle is that everything you do in life, you do because you believe because you believe that is of greatest benefit to you. So when you are resolving tension towards the lower pathway, which is the ultimate, the end result is that it keeps you safe, you believe that that is of greater benefit to you than resolving tension towards the higher pathway. So this is, of course, very unconscious and hidden. If we would be aware of it, we would not do it, right? So if you still find yourself trapped in living a reality that that is not 100% coherent with what you love, then there is still parts of you that believe that there is a benefit there for you. So this mechanism operates, of course, for both your higher and your lower survive pathway. So the aim is to uncover those benefits like what are the benefits to resolve tension towards your higher pathway. We want to be really clear about that. And that is, of course, linked to your choices that you're going to make. And we want to become aware of the perceived benefits to resolve tension towards the lower pathway. And what I realized with me, and it was very interesting. We've been doing this process with the family, and it was really beautiful, because who knows you better than your family? And it was so, like, we did it with Tali and Vismai and Finn and me, and it was just so yeah, amazing to be vulnerable and to see how it operates, because others can see those things better often than yourself. And what we realized was that the benefit, when you start to bring those subluxations to the light, is that the benefit, of course, is not beneficial at all. So I've named this the trickster, because it's, and you don't actually get what you think you get. Not just that, you also don't get what you love. So it's like a double whammy, actually. It's a double whammy. It excuse my friends, but it fucks you over twice. You don't just get what you don't just get what you think you get by doing this, but you also don't get what you love. So it's like, once you start to realize it, you are like going to drop it like a hot potato. That's what we want. You want to go like, like, okay, what? I did that. And then you want to just drop it. And it's quite amazing, actually, Mariella, because I've been doing this now for, the past month. And I have to say that I'm really stepping up a lot more like than before. Like, it's really quite amazing how it works. So I want to share it with you. Okay, so what we want to do, so of course those benefits that we're going to uncover when we're going to do this process are often based on a belief, like, so and we want to just kind of nail those beliefs. But we also want to, just, it works both ways, because most people actually kind of live in that in between limbo, nobody's land, because they don't know what their, the lower pathway, what their hidden, beliefs are, but they also don't know where they want to go. Like, I would say, I would really honestly say that not even 5% of the people, I think, know this. And then you're kind of just being a victim of your circumstances all the time, because if you don't know where you're going, your others will determine and decide that for you. And I believe this is now more than ever, because we have all these, like technology, and generally life is speeding up and becoming more complex, and which is the natural progression of life, right? But if you don't know this, you're lost, actually. You're completely lost. And the only benefit is of staying in this, like, I would say, this nightmare, this suffering, is that you kind of, it's easy, probably. It might be comfortable for some people. And yeah, that's it. That's it. Like you said before, it's easy because you resolve that energy and tension towards the lower pathway. So but entropy kicks in. You know how entropy, right? That, like, the natural decay, and I think that starts kicking in from around age 30 or something. So if you don't get on the bandwagon, you actually just, yeah, you just die. I mean, we're all dying, but it just goes a lot quicker. Entropy kicks in a lot quicker. Because we want to stay energy rich, and to really live in coherence, so not where one part of you is going one way and the other part is going the other way, right? Like that creates a lot of stress in our nervous systems. To be able to become energy rich, that also counteracts the whole process of entropy, which is what we love. Like we want to stay young, like it's like a Botox free energy, an upgrade in our youth. Actually, you just stay young a lot longer.
But can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Would you say that this staying where you are, in this stuck phase, and actually that's survival mode, isn't it? Or is that too harsh?
Absolutely, absolutely. So the stuck phase is often a nervous system state that is a hybrid between dorsal vagal and fight flight, because one part of you wants to go forward and the other one. So you've got your brake, you've got your gas pedal and your brake, right? So there is, and then the end result is that you stay stuck. So it's a survival mechanism. And there is somewhere in your nervous system, there is a belief that is beneficial for you.
Yeah.
So it's a natural, very intelligent, amazing. It's almost like, an immune system. It's really intelligent, but sometimes that immune system can work against you, like when it goes in overdrive or it just becomes dysfunctional. So it is, this is the same. So it's like the system that is highly intelligent and amazing is actually now standing in front of you, blocking your growth. And that means it needs help from you. So it needs help from you to regulate it back into safety, and then you're in growth, then you're in growth mode, basically. So here the inquiry is, what do I believe I gain by staying where I am? What's the payoff? And there is always a payoff. And at the same time, what do I gain by stepping into my higher vision? And once these are uncovered, you can consciously choose the true benefit of aligning with your higher self. So you bring a lot more consciousness and awareness to this process. And, this is not so easy. So because the trickster is really just that there's nothing malicious in there. It's just a bit too helpful. It's like overly helpful friend that is constantly like, jumping around you with every step you take and go, oh, no, don't do this. Oh my God. No, no. It's like, it really wants to help. So there's nothing wrong with that. But we want to just take control and say, hey, I'm safe now. I'll call you when I really get chased by a tiger. Then you can come and help me, but not now. So it's really important not to become, so to look at it with compassion and curiosity, I always say. So to stay compassionate and curiosity towards that part of yourself, because it is often the inner child, right? It's often, of course, it's always based on a trauma or a series of traumas that happened in the past. So it is really that inner child that we want to nurture and nurture back to the same level as where you are at. So parts of you are stuck still behind, are left behind, basically. So you want to start connecting with those parts of you. And of course, these are the subluxations. And then we have principle number 3, which I've oh, wait a second. Let us, before we go to this one, let us just, in your own words, maybe you can just share what's landing. That, oh, it kind of helps to concretize.
Well, what's landing is that when I would become aware of the things that hold me back and find out that it's not actually helpful at all, that I can actually resolve. So when I discover, sorry, my English is not online. When I discover, what I would gain, yeah, then I discover what I gain by stepping into that new reality and in that new dimension, being the more conscious higher self.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also also knowing that the motivational mechanism is that works with everybody, like every single person, it works the same, and that we always move towards what we believe is of greatest benefit to us.
Yeah.
Because this is true for everybody. It's not just some people do that, we all do that.
Yeah, but when I think about what's holding me back, I mean, I now can't really think about the motivation behind it. Well, it's a bit, it's not really true anymore. So I hope that will help to
Yeah, exactly.
climb up. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to ultimately ask, is it really true? And of course, most of the time it's not. But there is a part of you that still believes it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you think that you really have to figure out where that all comes from, or it's just enough to observe it and then find out it's no longer beneficial and then move on?
Yeah. I totally believe the why is not so important. I think what is actually really the most important thing is to connect with the emotional charge behind it and the energy behind it, because when there is a, like you would say, the original trauma or the original subluxation, it always starts with there is there is something, an external, there is some sort of external information that comes your way and that you are at that stage unable to integrate, right? That is kind of the definition of trauma, that there is some sort of, and that information can be your parent or an event, an accident, or any event, any external event that you are faced with, that you're at that stage not able to process consciously, is becoming is staying stuck in your nervous system. And of course, there are so many of those events that happen when we're young, right? I mean, mostly it is, of course, your parents to start with, but then of course we have school, we have, like, my God, we have so many moments where we can get traumatized. But it often starts with an emotional response, because often when that happens, you're at, like, you're not at that, you don't have that mental capacity to actually think or know what's going on or to mentalize it. But there is always an emotion that comes with it. So that's often the first layer, is energy and emotion. So energy and emotion. And then, of course, that emotion starts to create thought patterns. And that creates kind of, so it's kind of a layered response, thought patterns, and they become stories, they become beliefs, and they become, and then ultimately it creates physical dis-ease as well. it creates like a contraction and disconnection in your nervous system, and that creates muscle tension and subluxations and all of that. And of course, that is great because that means that you have pain, and then you're going to look at it. Otherwise, you would never look at it. But yeah, so I believe it's more beneficial to, instead of just going to the why, the thoughts, there is like a deeper layer of emotions that is probably if you can kind of get to that layer, that's amazing. Because then the thoughts will resolve as well. And you probably get, you might get visions, or where things become clear to you, when you start to resolve it and release it. Yeah. Okay, so that is quite clear. Okay, now, and then we have the subject-object theory, and I have explained this before, but I want to go over it shortly again. When you're being subject to anything, that means that you and that thing or that experience are really there's no distance between them, so they're one. You're strongly identified with your subject. There is no distance. And what we want to do is we want to actually create some distance between the subject and you. So the first step is so you're not identifying yourself with it anymore. And then you can actually look at it as well. You can kind of look at it from a distance, and then you can look at it and think, okay, is this true? Is this helping me? Or can I, do I want to let go of this? And of course, a lot of it has to do with your identity, because your identity and your personality is actually your mask, I would say, your compensation mechanisms. You are actually you can say your personality is, your subluxation, because it is a compensation to it's like a mask. It's what helps you. It's your vehicle of orientation. Your ego self is your vehicle of orientation. And of course, it's never who you truly are. It's like a mask that you have put on to help you orientate and manage life, basically. Are you still here, Mariella?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm still here.
Okay, so that is your and of course your personality becomes your personal reality. Does that make sense? So you are so identified with yourself, like, you've got a name, and you've got, a job, and you've got like I don't know, you might be married, you've got children, you're a mom, you're this, you're that, all these labels, and you are kind of one with them. But now we want to actually kind of just step back a little bit from that and ask, is this actually my true face? Is this my true self? Or is this my compensating self? Right? So that's the idea of subject object. What is really interesting about subject object is that everything that you make object, that means that you can look at it, actually you have it, and when it's subject, it has you. So it controls you. And to become more conscious and to become more aware and more, where you step into your inner power and where you're more free, because ultimately we all want to be free, is that this is the process of your behaviors, your emotions, your thoughts, you start to question it. You start to look at it. It's like you become the observer. You become the observer of you. which of course has deep roots in you know all the meditation practices and all of that. It's all about becoming the observer and becoming, you know, awareness, observing itself, and then you become the object. So do you want to just share what's landing with this principle?
Well, actually, what you said um, about with object you have it and you own it, and with subject it has you. I mean, I think that's actually very clear to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
and also that with an object, I mean, there is no emotional detachment to it anymore. So you can actually,
Mm.
well, decide what you do with it, you know? I mean,
Mm.
like, continue, do I step away from it? Is
Mm.
this serving me? And with a subject, you actually don't have that distance.
No, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And then I believe that there is another level, like, so this is kind of the first, because we're talking about growth and development, right? We're talking about emotional, mental, you know, on all levels, we want to grow and develop. So there is kind of developmental stages, like mental and emotional developmental stages that we want to um, we want to step into, let's say. So this is, you know, like when you are, for example, and Robert Keegan speaks a lot about that, and Ken Wilber. Have you heard of Ken Wilber?
Yeah, I think from you.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
he's amazing, and um, of course they talk a lot. They're developmental psychologists, and they say that most of the people are what we call the socialized mind developmental stage. I think about 78% is in there, and that's where you strongly identify with a group of people, but you know you really want to belong as part of this group, and it makes you feel safe, and you have like a space, you're part of it. But that's kind of yeah, like that's kind of a developmental stage where it, you know, you're not separate from it, so you're really strongly identified with this group, and that you use that to keep to stay safe. It's, of course, it's a safety mechanism, survival mechanism, to be part of a group. But of course at the moment we're really, everything in the world is going towards, there is like a transition into the next level, and it's more of like where you are the self-authored mind. So it's like a level up from this level, and then you're able to acknowledge that, and you don't deny that, like, but you don't.
Oh, I think you're frozen now. I don't hear you anymore. Do you hear me? Oh.
Oh yeah, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back, but you were away. I
Yeah,
was.
maybe my internet is unstable. Anyway,
Yeah.
where I'm going with this is that so this is a natural progression, a natural developmental progression, and the next stage is the self-authored mind. So you start to become a lot more aware of what you want, you know, like not with being selfish or thinking about yourself, but more like to be really clear with what you want, so you can better serve others as well. And then ultimately, of course, there is, like, I think it's the highest stage where actually object completely disappears, so you are part of, you acknowledge that everything you see and everything you hear and experience is you. You are fully aware of that, but that's that is of course a higher, even a higher system level of development. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to share with you the ascension model. I think you've probably seen it before, but the aim is to move up the dotted line. And you see how the beliefs and emotions creating a life view and creating an end result in your life. And I paired it with a change index. So the belief, the emotions are very foundational to you being able to progress and grow and develop upwards and forwards. And again, like everything in nature grows and develops except for humans. And we grow and develop up till a certain stage, like I would say up until, I don't know, maybe 18 or 21 or around that time. Growth happens quite naturally, but it at some stage it doesn't, like entropy kicks in, and we have to put effort into growing and developing, and that's why we're here, right? That's what it's not easy, like, but it's amazing. You're getting up at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, and you know, it doesn't happen by itself. You could have easily stayed in bed and thought, oh, this is so comfortable, I'm not going to do this. But you made a conscious choice and you go like, no, I really, really want to, I just want to, I want this, I want this. So it does cost, you know, grit, determination, courage, all of that is what it takes. But ultimately, of course, you'll reap the benefits and the fruits from it. And then you get into momentum, and you'll notice that the growth will come a lot easier. Those higher pathways will become a lot more established. So we're literally rewiring our brains. Now, it's a little bit short notice to do the actual process, but I can talk you through it. And with you, I would really love to get your choices ready before we start doing this process. So maybe I'll connect with you and see if we can find a time to do that, and possibly together with Jackie as well, if she wants to join.
Mhm.
And you know how in the beginning, when we started this space, we went into, we were reading each other. Remember how we did that a few times?
Yeah.
Where we started to give each other feedback. And we're doing this in this process too. So ultimately, in the beginning, we do this together, this process. So I'll be reading you, and then you can also read me, and you start to trust your observations a lot more. So this is a really nice way to start to trust your intuition a lot more. And excuse me, and eventually I do this every day. Now, just before I get up, like it's maybe 5 or 10 minutes, I do this process. And it just really helps me to set the stage for the day. And of course, you know, you're constantly rewiring your nervous system and aligning your current reality with your ideal reality. So I'm just going to talk you through the process so you at least have a bit of an idea of what it is. We start with preparing the space. So it's always a safe space where you won't be disturbed. I like to sit, but you can also, sometimes I do it even, you know, when I wake up, first thing.
Oh, you're frozen again. Ik hoor je niet meer. Can't hear you. Mm.
Hoor je me weer?
Yeah.
Oh ja, ja. Ik heb,
Can you hear me? Can you hear me
yeah,
then?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I don't know if you see me or if you hear me, because yeah, the first you ended with well, the last thing I heard was that you can even do it
laying down.
laying down. Well,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
even
yeah.
did
Like
nothing.
I
Yeah.
do that too because I know that as soon as I get up, you know, I'm lost. You know, I will get distracted and check my phone, and then, you know, the dog will start, you know, wants to, you know, go out, and so I sometimes just do it when as soon as I wake up, but you can sit or lay down, and of course we have your choices ready with a pen and paper, and the choices
1 second, I just have to get something. 1 second. Yeah, sorry.
No
A
worries.
client can phone me, and I didn't even switch on my phone. So I switch off the noise. So when she phones me, at least the phone is on.
I'm going to send you a really funny photo. I just took a little screenshot of when the screen froze with you. Did you see it?
Just hang on. Yeah, I was actually trying to like, I can't hear you, I can't see you.
That was really funny. Okay. So okay, so we first start with preparing the space, and then we set intentions. So we always set clear intentions to fully receive the benefit of today's process. You set the intention to commit to being present with whatever arises, trusting that it serves your highest good. And you set the intention to step in a state of innocence, which we call in no sense. So you're going beyond your senses. The information that you normally receive through your senses is often not true, of course. And you set, you know, the intention to be open and, like I said, so go beyond your beliefs. And you invite guidance from your intuition, imagination, and higher neural pathways. And really, you just observe what is obvious, free from judgment or the need to analyze. Okay, and then we always work like, I like to work with circles, because a circle, when you create a circle, you actually define a really clear space. So you kind of imagine a circle. So you close your eyes and you draw two circles, one on the right and one on the left. And the one on the right, you define as your ideal reality circle, or your vision, or your, you know, any word that resonates with you. And the other circle you define as your current reality. Now, you can do that to the right and the left, because the right indicates often the future and the left the past, right? But because I work with higher and lower pathways, you can also place the circles above you and below, because of the higher. I like that too, because tension resolves towards the lower pathway or it goes up to the higher. And of course, the orientation means your vehicle of orientation is either a thriving or a surviving, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and the first you step into your ideal reality. So you step into, say, I'm now stepping into my ideal reality with a thrive orientation, and you work with a choice of your choice. And I always choose one choice that has the biggest charge for me at that moment. You can work with a choice for a week, or you can change your choice every day, whatever works for you. And then when you're in there, you start to clearly
Could you give
envision
an example of the
of a
like choice?
choice. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I have a choice that I've got them here. I always like to write them down. So I've got a journal as well, like a special journal, like I have a little book. And because it's nice to journal after. And then I write all my choices in here, like this. And for example, I have a few choices. And
You're frozen again.
yeah, I'm back. Good. All right. So again, those choices are based on the themes that you saw in your fields of possibilities, right? And then from those themes, we extract choices, and I'm going to help you with that. So my themes were like my home, for example, and I choose the end result of our natural, spacious, global home sanctuaries in Bali and Europe. That is one choice. Then I have I saw, and this is all the things that I saw in my vision. I choose the end result of a loving and joyful global soul tribe family, like my family, that loves the truth of my essence. So this is, you know, my community. And then oh, this is a really nice one. I choose the end result of deeply connecting with my feminine sensuality, allowing for accelerated transformation, healing, and ecstatic bliss. This is a really nice one. This is more about my business. I choose the end result of my naturally expanding global business temple with structures that allow my clients to access my teachings with ease and grace. So sometimes people like shorter choices, sometimes, you know, like whatever works for you. But it basically, what the most important thing is when you read it, you need to feel, your heart needs to make a jump. Like you need to really go like, oh my God, this is so, you know, you need to get goosebumps basically. I choose the end result of, and you really step into that circle. So you're really stepping into the vision and join and see if you can join an emotion and elevate an emotion with it. The emotion is really important with all of this. So you have to see it, you have to feel it, you know, hear it. So it's like as real as it gets. And then of course we want to become really aware of what the benefits are. Like, what is the benefits if I get that? Like, how does this is this going to benefit me? And you can then write any insights down or reflections, or you can wait until the process is complete. So sometimes I like to then start journaling when I've received a lot, or you can step into, and then we're stepping into a current reality. So we're making a circle, and we're defining that circle and stepping into that circle with our survive orientation, and we're repeating the same choice. Now, then you start to realize that other thoughts, feelings, and beliefs will come up. You might feel emotions or fears or any of that coming up. And again, it's really important to just look at how does it benefit you? So you're basically looking at it from a higher perspective, right? Because you are looking at yourself being in that victim orientation, in that survive orientation. And you get information there too. And then you can write that down again. And then what we're doing is we're actually stepping back into our ideal reality to reconfirm your choice. We acknowledge of what happened in our current reality, and we're stepping back into our ideal reality. And again, we're really fully feeling that vision of that. And from that perspective, from that higher perspective, you're looking at your lower perspective. And then you ask for a bridge and guidance. And this is your next obvious action step. So here we are asking for, like, what can I do to take my first steps towards creating this end result? And here we don't want to get into the how. We just want to, because then you are back into your educated mind. We really want to return and keep in that innate mind and staying in our heart. Now, naturally, everything you receive from your higher self is very fleeting often. It's like volatile. So we want to capture that. And that's, of course, the essence of alchemy, is to dissolve that what is fixed and then fix the volatile. So make the fixed volatile and then fix the volatile. That's the essence of alchemy. And that's basically what we're doing here. And by fixed, that's the ego mind. Volatile is your higher self. So by allowing to make that ego mind, kind of to make that a little bit more, it's not so fixed and contracted, but it becomes a bit more kind of loose, right? Then your higher self can come in a lot better. You're able to receive that, but that is by nature volatile. So we want to fix that again after. And that's what we do by journaling and writing it down. And that's the essence of the neuro-alignment process, which is one of the core processes of the Adjust Your Mind method. So before we leave, you can share a little bit what has landed for you, and then we'll continue this, right? This was kind of a masterclass, so it's not an experience, but I want to go into the experience next time.
Well, thank you also for repeating, which, like you also said, I mean, I really thrive with all these repetitions. Just let me think about, I mean, what really landed is that when I talk about myself, that I have to look in a compassionate way, and stay open and curious to what's coming up, because the whole process is just an opportunity to develop.
Exactly.
And to resolve things that are not serving me any longer, or maybe never served me.
Exactly. They have served you at some stage. They kept you safe, and that was really great. But not anymore.
Yeah, and what also was really, really, aligning with the other work I'm doing with these focus goals, I told you before, is that I really, well, after this call, it's embedding more in me. It's that I really have to choose to stay and also use the momentum, like, of things. So that's,
Exactly. No, it's really important, and that's why we have this community as well, that to have people around you to do this with is so important, because you can't do it alone. You just can't.
You look at your notes and you don't, half of them you don't even know what's there, what's they mean.
Exactly. Well, this is really great, because once we start to gain clarity around your choices, you can use this also in your work with the mark. Then, okay, this is what I want, this is what I want.
I mean, it works both ways, so it's it's very
fantastic.
Thank you.
Great. Well, I might connect with you then before the next it would be really great if we can get those choices clear before the next practice session in 2 weeks on the Sunday. So maybe next week we can just reserve just private, just you and I. We can reserve some time. Let me just stop the recording now, and then we can
I'll just take my
stay on. Okay, thanks everybody. See you next time.